things start to get questionable. Some of these companies will change their plans. All right, welcome to Talking Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk to you about the Bitcoin difficulty level. There was a massive adjustment today. So I want to go through what that adjustment was, what we can expect in the future, and I want to talk about how that affects each one of the Bitcoin miners that we talk about on this channel. So as always, I've got some charts and graphs that I've made that we can go through and take a look at. And you guys know we talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining all the time on this channel. So if that's content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Still less than 50% of the people that watch the videos are subscribed to the channel, so I really would appreciate it. Okay, so first I want to take a look at the worldwide exahash rate, because essentially the Bitcoin difficulty level is calculated and recalibrated, I think, every 2 weeks. And that's based on the amount of exahash on the total network worldwide. So in other words, the more computing power there is, the more difficult they have to make it to mine a Bitcoin, because the goal is for them to average mining a block every 10 minutes. So as a 2-week period goes by, if the exahash rate is increasing, they'll be mining things faster. So if it gets down to 9.5 minutes, they have to make an adjustment and make it more difficult to mine Bitcoin so that they can get back to that 10 minutes. And vice versa. If it's taking 10.5 or 11 minutes, then they've got to do a reduction in the difficulty level to get back to that 10-minute goal. So I'm going to start out by looking at the exahash rate. This is over the course of the last year. So you're going to see this peaked a couple of times. Basically in May, this peaked at around 228. We got back there for a minute in June, but mostly in June we were lower than that. And then in July and August, we were much lower than that. So we have had a series in decreases of the difficulty level. We're going to look at that. But now all of a sudden you can see finally at last the exahash rate is on the move up. So according to this chart, we're averaging about 224.5 exahash worldwide, and there's several different charts and they measure this in different ways, but they all in the end have similar results. So you can see we're back very near our previous all-time highs back from May. So as a result, the difficulty level has to be adjusted accordingly. So I'm going to show you what the adjustment was. Okay, so this is at BTC.com, and anybody can check this out. So you can see this is the measure of the difficulty level. So you can see in graphic form here, this is the difficulty level as it's changed over time. So on this chart, you can see that it peaked back in May. I'm going to show you each difficulty change. So if I scroll down a little bit, today, you're going to see we had a 9.26% increase in the difficulty level of mining Bitcoin. So that is a significant increase. It still does not get us back to where we were in May, but it is very, very close. So the difficulty level is 30.9 trillion, and we were at 31.2 trillion. So we're almost back there. And I can tell you, based on the charts that I'm going to show you and the analysis that I've done, it looks like for the rest of the year, this is going to trend upward. That doesn't mean every single difficulty level change every 2 weeks is going to go up, but this will trend upward and, in my opinion, be much higher by the end of the year. I think over the next 6 months, this could increase anywhere from 30 to 50%. Again, that's my guess. This is not financial advice, but everything that I'm looking at shows, unless there's a dramatic change, this will start to move back towards higher numbers. And we've already seen that with this difficulty level change today. 9.26 is a very big difficulty level change. We did have, if you go all the way down to the bottom of this chart, back in January of 2022, we had a 9.32 increase in the difficulty level. So as this continues to increase, essentially what that means is each individual Bitcoin miner, they need to increase their exahash at a rate that is at or above this if they want to mine more Bitcoin on a month-by-month basis. If a Bitcoin miner's hash rate, and we can just take any Bitcoin miner, we'll use Core Scientific just as an example, if their hash rate remains the same month over month and the difficulty level goes up, then they are going to mine less Bitcoin in the following month. So these Bitcoin miners need to stay caught up with the increase in the difficulty level. And I'm going to go to a chart right now and show you what their plans are. I did a video, and you can check that out right here, on what all the Bitcoin miners' plans were as far as raising their exahash, what their original plans were at the beginning of this year. They've all adjusted those plans downward, some of which in a major way. But we're going to take a look at the revised plan and see if it's going to keep up with the increase in what I think the difficulty level is going to be. And again, I think there's going to be a 30 to 50% increase in the difficulty level over the next, I'm going to say 6 to 9 months. And that is just my estimate. That could change dramatically based on world events, based on the price of Bitcoin. Okay, here's a chart of 16 Bitcoin miners that we follow. These are all publicly traded. They are publicly traded on the NASDAQ, although that is not the native exchange to some of these. So I sorted this from top to bottom. But in this column right here, this was the actual exahash rate per their July update. So each one of these companies gave an update, an operational update for the month of July. Now it's August 31st right now. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to get the August updates. So I will revise this probably 2 weeks from now when we get all of the August updates to see how everybody did versus expectation. But this was actual at July 31st. Then I have a column here, their adjusted target for March 31st, 2023. So I will tell you, for Marathon, I made an estimate. That is the only one that I changed. They're estimating actually significantly more than this. But you can see, even with my reduced estimate, they're estimating a 1,186% increase in their exahash rate. So, if they beat my estimate, then great. Then they did even better than that. They have by far the biggest leap that they're expecting to take between now and March 31st. And if they do what they say, it could be dramatically more than this. Then what we need to see is each one of these Bitcoin miners needs to increase their exahash rate accordingly. So if they're doing less than that, then they're going to fall behind and they're going to start mining less Bitcoin than they were mining previously. Their initial plans at the beginning of the year 2022 was to get to 182 exahash. They've drastically reduced that by almost 100 exahash. It's now their goal to get to about 89 or 90 exahash. That even represents a 200% increase overall on the average. So that's still very aggressive. So hitting these target numbers is not a given and it's not going to be easy. But I have ranked these in order by the amount that these companies anticipate growing their exahash. So you can see, I'm just going to talk about a couple of these. Cypher really has not started mining Bitcoin yet. They had initially talked about somewhere between 13.8 and 19.2 exahash. Well, they've had to drastically reduce that essentially based on their liquidity and their ability to raise cash. They're now targeting 6.9 exahash, but they just started mining. They're still less than 1 exahash right now. So that's almost 1,000% increase that they're anticipating over the next 7 or 8 months. And then you can see it drops off dramatically from there. Iris Energy has very big plans. They claim that in the August and the September monthly updates, they are going to show dramatic increases. So a lot of this we're going to know in the next 60 days for Iris Energy, whether or not they're going to hit that target, because most of the increase is in the next 60 days according to them. So that's a 441% increase. So they should dramatically increase the amount of Bitcoin that they mine on a monthly basis if they can stick to that plan. Then you'll see these start to drop off a little more into reality. Riot is planning on a 198% increase. They're targeting 12.5 exahash. They have not changed their target by very much, and they seem to be on track. They've been going sideways a little bit, but I would expect them to get pretty close to their goal, and that's a 198% increase. So again, if the difficulty level goes up 30 to 50% and they go up 200%, then they're going to mine considerably more Bitcoin in the future. TeraWulf is mining 0. They're targeting now, I had to do a guesstimate because they didn't really give a number. They're targeting maybe 1.8 exahash by the end of the year. We're going to have to wait and see what happens with TeraWulf. So from there, you've got Argo Blockchain at 84%, CleanSpark at 72%, Hive at 64%, Bitfarms at 58%, Core Scientific at 55%. So from the top down to Core Scientific, it seems like all of these companies will at least keep pace, if not outpace, the increase in difficulty level, in my opinion, over the next 6 to 9 months. From there down, things start to get questionable. Moss and Gree, Hut, Stronghold, and Any do not plan to keep pace with this difficulty level increase. So some of these companies will change their plans. Hut has a lot of liquidity, so there is the potential over the next 8 or 9 months months, if they see Bitcoin move in the right direction, I would expect this a target rate to increase dramatically. So they have the money to do it. They have put things on hold. So, I don't want to say they're sandbagging, but they're a little bit holding off on their projections until they see where things go. But you'll see if these other companies can stay on target, building out their infrastructure, getting their machines, energizing their machines, and having them mine Bitcoin, then most of these companies should keep up or beat the exahash rate. So I think this is a monthly analysis I'll do. We'll take a look at the difficulty level as it continues to increase, and we'll take a look at what these Bitcoin miners are doing on a month-to-month basis to see if they kept up with that. So they just had over a 9% increase in the difficulty level today. That was a huge adjustment to the upside. I don't expect many more that are that big, but I do expect incremental increases from here forward for the most part. So we'll see how all this plays out. Obviously, this is not financial advice, and there's a million variables that go into this. The very biggest one of all is, how does Bitcoin do, and how is the market in general doing? Is there going to be capital for these companies to raise to execute their plans? Okay, so that's what I got for you on the Bitcoin exahash and the Bitcoin miners. So thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, remember to subscribe and smash the like button. And thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.